rank where the view is nothing less than phenomenal. For how I express and project from my abdominal. The only view better, both my daddy and my mama know. No living parents, my sons give me balance. My wife is my serenity, this mic is my identity. The world is foul enough, that's why I write without obscenities. Provoking danger with broken language and spoken anguish. Begging to get hurt, why would you ask to go through changes? Yes, Lord, life's a chessboard, master the angles. Control the tempo, be the one who holds the info. Acknowledge is just as deadly as machete swings. When spoken, the truth is as potent as that Medellin. While others swear the style is free, I just let it ring. Our time is undervalued, soldiers make us better kings. My fans on my shoulder, reaching after better things. Today I take the shot, for them I'd rather set the screen.
My mama told me follow my dreams. My daddy told me get it by any means. Stand tall, make him bow to a king. But I've evolved, you can see the resolve. Look in my eyes when you speaking to God.
Life and for those who we caught up in using what I was scarred with the muse. I guess they call it proving I'm more than an artist. Penciling out my darkest while sizzling out a harvest. And storing what gets me from A to B, just like garages. Instrumental with collages. Envision what I've been drawing. Broadway to give you rhythm like the great Lena on. So bent on, found comfort in the storm. Find peace and on when you see them others perform. Organized chaos, I'll cast it like hey ya.
Yo, party people in the place to be. What's good? It's your number one chief rockin' Knicks Universal main man, Uncle Freezy, and welcome to the premier Knicks in the Nighttime joint, the Knicks at Night podcast. Salute to everybody out there. Salute to everyone out there, man. Salute. The original DSJ is in the building. Salute. Donald Cannon, what's good? Salute, y'all. So I have some takeaways, man. I have some takeaways from the Mike Brown press conference, and I wanted to share these thoughts with you guys to see if my thoughts align with your thoughts. See if our thoughts align together. One of the things I want to mention in the press conference is, the first thing I want to mention is the New York media can be petty, right? Is one of the things I kind of felt like was happening with the at the press conference. The fact that they kept bringing up Tom Thibodeau, to me, was less about how much they like Tibbs, but to see if they could get some beef generated, or see if they can uncover some drama in the Knicks organization. Because Tom Thibodeau was referenced a couple of times, but not referenced in a good way. Not like a, hey man, Tom Thibodeau was great, you know, is there something, you know, blah, blah, blah about Tibbs that you get? When he that, it was like, hey, can you throw some dirt on Tibbs? And one of the things I thought Mike Brown did a great job at was saying, hey man, Tibbs is my friend. He's a great coach. He's no longer here. I'm here. We are going to collaborate and make the Knicks great again. Kerry Cox in the building, salute. Which I found to be refreshing, that upon arrival, there is no pettiness, right? There is no we're gonna be petty for the sake of being petty, which I like that. JJ in the building, salute. JJ, we back. JJ, we back, baby. I saw the Carlos Mendoza thing today, bro. We back. One of the words that I heard from Mike Brown is collaborative. Collaborate with the players, collaborate with the front office. he really put emphasis on the coaching staff and the coaching staff in the front office working together. I kind of like that, right? I kind of like that. I think the teamwork aspect of things is something that, while I didn't get a sense of it when Tom Thibodeau was here. I didn't get a sense of that when Tom Thibodeau was here, but at the same time, I didn't have a sense of it. I think it was more like dictator. And while I'm not a Knicks insider, right? Like the Knicks don't send me stuff to send me content to put out, right? I'm not like that, and I don't think I ever will be. I like being independent, right? I like having access, but I like having my own say and having you guys have your own say as well, right? But at the same time, the more I heard Mike Brown's press conference, the more I felt like the Knicks front office was maybe growing tired of the king of Gotham role, right? Like you have all these smart people here, and we're not using the smart people because this one guy is the king of the garden, the king of MSG, right? JJ, I see your question. I'm going to get to that. I kind of had these things in an order that I wanted to kind of get out before I forget. But yes, right. And when I say this, it's going to sound like something contradictory. Rick Brunson, right? I know you said this, and I'm going to. And you can draw your own conclusions from that, right? But I'm going to say Rick Brunson, right? And it's going to sound weird. Like, what does Rick Brunson have to do with? Like, what does Rick Brunson have to do with tempo? That's all I'm going to say about that. Yo, my guy, Hinton Murphy. Bro, I've been holding this seat warm for you for months. Hinton, I've been holding this seat over here. Look, can you see this chair? Can you see the seat right here? Hey, Hinton, can you see the seat right here? You can't see. Y'all can't see it on camera. I've been trying to get Hinton to here for months, man, so we can chop it up. Hey, Hinton, thank you for the generous contribution, brother. Thank you for the generous contribution. Donald Cannon, thank you for the generous contribution. Donald Cannon says, here's to the 25,000 plus subs. Last time I looked, it was at 3K. So salute and keep growing. Yeah, man, it was. Yo, is okay. So the story behind this, and I know it's going to seem crazy, but the story behind this is me doing a YouTube channel incorrectly, right? I didn't have the settings right so people can see us. And I also had violations. Like I kept violating, the channel kept violating the YouTube guidelines on what the advertisers and the public want to see. Like we would be up here saying words that shouldn't be said in front of people, like the F word, that N word, all these words that we shouldn't have been doing. Right. And I was just, trying to give people runway to do certain things and all the arguing and bullying and things of that sort. And so, man, got to kind of stream all that, cut that back as far as we can, so that we can address the reason why we here, and that's to talk about our beloved New York Knicks. Tory B in the place to be was good. Can the son of the hey, y'all know I like Rick Brunson, right? I like Rick Brunson, right? I like Rick Brunson a lot, but I think the Knicks had to shuffle some things around in order for overall team success. Right. Right. So yeah, to Donald Cannon, yeah, I had to scale a lot of things back, and in order for us to put forth a pristine product. The reason why y'all here is not for people attitudes and things like that. Y'all want to talk about the Knicks, right? And y'all want to do it in a safe place that's clean and bully free. And I think at times we kind of crossed that line, and I'll be the first to admit that I got kind of caught up in the moment with that. And so instead of doubling down on something that I did wrong, I decided to wipe the slate clean. Some people liked it, some people didn't, right? So you'll see some people you won't see anymore, and others you'll see more of them. And it's one of those things, man. It's like, in order for the channel to kind of be what it should be, in order for the channel to be what it should be, we just have to do things a little bit differently. So let's talk about these Knicks, man, because the thing about the Knicks is this. Or the thing about the channel is this. And I'm just saying this because Donald Cannon brought it up. The thing about the channel is this. I do the channel because I like being here with y'all, right? It's like, you know how everybody get off of work, wherever they're coming from, and then they just meet up in one spot and just chop it up about whatever. That's what I feel like this is. That's what I feel like this is. This is like about fellowshipping about the Knicks. Keith Turner's in the building. Salute my guy. Keith Turner, fresh off saving multiple countries from obliterating the whole planet. Prezi is in the building. Salute. So if we get back on the topic, if we get back on the topic of Mike Brown's presser, I think there were a lot of things said that were like, Mike Brown said a lot of wispy stuff, right? Mike Brown said a lot of stuff that was kind of wispy, where if you didn't notice, if it didn't hit you, you may not have noticed. But he mentioned a few things. He mentioned collaborative. He said the word collaborative a lot. Which gives me the sensation that the previous coaching regime didn't value collaboration. I know what I'm doing. I got more experience than all y'all. Y'all ain't gonna tell me how to do this. I know how to win. And it's not about it's about everyone. Right? It's not about it's about everyone. Right? You have hundreds of people all working to a singular goal. And if you have a king, everybody has to do what the king says. And now that the king is gone, coach is in the building. Salute. Man, I ain't messing with it. Man, y'all, I've been calling. Coach, I was good. Hey, Coach, I was about to put you on the spot. Call this. Ew. Yeah, man. So I think that when Mike Brown mentioned the term collaborative, I think he legitimately was saying that maybe the organization and I know this is an assumption because we don't know the ins and well, we know the outs because clearly some people have been removed from their role. Rick Brunson is removed from his role. Tom Thibodeau is removed from his role, right? We don't know who else will be removed from their role, but we have a sense that there are some major changes, right? One of the things he mentioned, and I want you guys to understand this. This is not me looking too deeply into something. Oh no, the Spurs just traded for Kelly Olynyk. Oh, okay. Hey everybody, reading is fundamental. Because when I first saw this, I was like, oh no, they just traded for Kelly Oubre. We could have gave up a second round pick for Kelly Oubre. Reading is fundamental, everybody. Anyways, in the presser, my guy says historically he likes to play fast. And then when asked about Jalen Brunson, he mentioned that Jalen Brunson is flexible and can do many things on the basketball floor, is what he alluded to. Right? That's what he mentioned. Right? Now, to me, what that means is, to me, what that meant was that the Knicks are going to play fast and Jalen Brunson is going to play fast, or option B. Right? Option B. Right? So is that a shot at Jalen Brunson? No. I think it's more of a, hey, if this team is going to do a certain thing, then Jalen Brunson is going to be at the forefront of ushering in that change. I think you will see Jalen Brunson play faster. Right? I think you will see Jalen Brunson give up that basketball. And the reason why I think it's not a shot at Jalen Brunson, but a shot at what the Knicks did and did not do that maybe served one person's numbers but didn't serve the team, is moving that basketball. And one of the reasons why I say that is because I heard Tom Thibodeau say multiple times, this team has to play faster. I heard Tom Thibodeau say that multiple times in post-game press conferences. We got to play fast, man. We got to shoot the three. We got to play faster. We got to shoot the three. We got to play fast. We got to shoot the three. And before you know it, it's Jalen Brunson is being guarded in the front court, barely get the ball across, initiate the offense from 40 feet, getting wild OD shots out of rhythm, and things of that sort. Not because Jalen Brunson's a bad player, but if you don't have a offensive philosophy, then you can't really implement it because nobody's on the same page. And the fact that you had 3-point shooters that would not shoot threes, you kind of think like, why are we not in a modern NBA offense? Is it because Jalen Brunson hogged the ball? No. Is it because Tom Thibodeau didn't have a modern NBA offensive mindset? No. my personal opinion is that every time you turn a roster over, you have to allow guys time to learn how to play together. And what had been happening over the past 4 years is that the roster was constantly being turned over from one year to the next. There was the first year where Elfrid Payton, well, it was Elfrid Payton's second year, but his first year under Tibbs, you have the Elfrid Payton year with Tibbs, Reggie Bullock, Taj Gibson, Julius Randle. That team, Tom Thibodeau deserved to be coach of the year, and Julius Randle, for as much as people like or dislike Julius Randle, that first year we made the playoffs with Randle, Julius Randle deserved a statue outside the Garden. Because when you look back at that roster of Austin Rivers, Elfrid Payton, Derrick Rose, Alec Burks, RJ Barrett, Kevin Knox, Frank Ntilikina. Coach, what's good, bro?
Smooth, baby.
Yo, that first year, the first year of Tibbs with Payton, Bullock, Knox, Frank, RJ, Randall, Norvell Pell, Iggy Brezdakis, Julius Randle, Austin Rivers. That roster should not. That was a lottery team in the making. But Tom Thibodeau and Julius Randle willed that team to the playoffs. And the reason why they got the fourth seed is because Julius Randle late in the season went on a Julius Randle revenge tour. And I think Julius Randle for like a stretch of like 9 games averaged like 33 points and 15 rebounds a game. He shot like 50% from three and like a 9-game stretch where Randle was playing out of his mind.
Bubble Julius.
Yeah, where he went from being, man, a lucky all-star to an undeniable all NBA type player. Right? And but then after that season, you turn the roster over. You bring in a bunch of kids. Right? You bring in Kemba, you bring in Fournier, and a bunch of kids. And so the roster looks totally different. And then after that year, you turn the roster over again. You bring in Jalen Brunson, you bring in Isaiah Hartenstein, you bring in a bunch of guys, right? And then the next year, you bring in Dante DiVincenzo, OG Anunoby, and blah, blah, blah. And then last year, you turn the roster over again, bringing in Cat and James Nagy. And James Nagy didn't play, but I promise y'all, man, the one thing I know for certain about this summer league, and I'm going to have this be a separate point. The one thing I know for certain is James Nagy is a star, right? James Nagy, if he's healthy, I think James Nagy can be a borderline NBA All-Star.
Whoa, that's a hot take there.
Yeah. I think James Nagy in his career is going to have multiple 20-point, 20-rebound games. Multiple.
Whoa.
And I'm not saying all in one season, everybody. I'm not saying that this dude is going to be 20 and 15 every year. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is there'll be stretches when this dude might get you like 5 blocks in a game just off teleporting like Nightcrawler. Right? But on the original, but to the original point is this. Mike Brown pointed out some things in a press conference that Knicks fans knew were issues. And the fact that he acknowledged them in a way you can acknowledge during your first press conference, like slightly acknowledge it, like give you the head nod. Like, Coach, you ever been on the highway and the state trooper just bumped the blue light one time He's to like that. Hey, I could have had you if I wanted you, but I'm on my way to somewhere else. That ever happened to you?
Right. Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. But so I think it's that. So and to recap the Mike Brown press conference, I think Mike Brown, Leon Rose, everybody in the front office, and even the owner understands that the path we were on was not sustainable. So they bring out a guy that's not going to overcorrect, because Mike Brown is not an overcorrection for the correction that needs to be made. He is one that can help the entire organization get back to the path that they want to be on. And that is the front office and the coaching staff working together. The coaching staff listening to the players, and everybody caring about each other. And the reason why I think that's important is because there was a time last year, right? There was, T. Williams, don't do that, bro. You're gonna make me remember you. You said don't oversell him. Oh my god. Hey, T. Williams, I remember that, right? So the first time he dunked on 9 people at one time, I'm gonna call you. I'm gonna call your phone. As soon as he dunked on Porty, I'm gonna call you, bro. I'm trolling a little bit, right? A little bit, but to the main point though, Mike Brown is setting the table for everybody to be on the same page and be respected, have everyone's opinion valued, right? These guys, the players are smart, the coaching staff is smart, the analytics department is smart. Everybody here is smart and know basketball, and you want a guy that's not going to be the dictator of everyone, not the king of the organization, but somebody that is a strong link in the chain that holds other links in the chain accountable for their thing. And not only that, but be held accountable himself. Right? Because that's one of the things that I don't know if y'all noticed over the past few years, coaches, is this. When our previous coach may have made a mistake, he doubled down and showed belief in the mistake and alluded to why the mistake happened, as opposed to saying, I made a mistake.
Right.
What's up, man? How you been, brother?
Pretty good, man. Just,
You got a haircut?
Yeah, a few days ago.
You interviewed for this job?
No.
Oh, okay.
I cut my own hair.
Oh, wow. Look at you.
Yeah. I do the barber thing like every couple months. Just to kind of,
Okay.
get it right. Or get pampered. I don't know. I try to save money.
Yeah.
I don't need like a perfect fade, It ain't like I'm trying to hook up.
Can I tell you something funny?
What up?
I had prime rib Saturday.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I had prime rib Saturday. Yeah. So everybody, the reason why this is important, because I don't know if I said publicly, but I was doing the vegan thing at the beginning of the year. I thought it was going to be my lifestyle change. But the thing about it is, when I did it, I felt myself like weak, missing stuff. And so about 2 months ago, I was like, I scrapped it so that I can kind of feel strong. You know what I'm saying? Because I wasn't feeling strong. But anyway,
you felt something wrong and you adapted?
Absolutely. I didn't double down on it.
Man.
Yeah. But the lady next to me had prime rib also, right? And hers was cooked well done. And it looked like it, because her jaw looked like it was tired.
Uh-oh.
She's over there like, yeah.
You know what? I'm probably gonna get heat for this, but prime rib to me is an overrated cut.
Okay.
Not the biggest fan of it. I'm just a big fan of that good old ribeye or something,
yeah.
Porterhouse or something.
Yeah.
it's got to be made just right, I guess. Sometimes they make it too rare and it's mushy. You know what I mean?
It's mushy. Yep.
Yeah,
And if they let it sit under that heat lamp too long, it get dry.
yeah, something. I don't know.
Yeah.
And it's a little too fat, like the outside fat cap and all that. But nah, man, I'm all for. You know, I know we talked about all this, and you know, Mike Brown wasn't my personal first choice, but it's not like, oh, I'm pissed or anything. You know what I mean?
Right.
I know the things he represents. I do like how he talked about playing fast and made it a point and all that, man. It's
right.
You know, and a lot of the things he says, and he even admitted it, and you said it too. Some of the coach talk stuff, you know, and he's got to say, you know, obviously, but he sees Jalen Brunson's worth, and he knows how versatile he really is, and I think we've been not spoiled, but we still haven't. We're like Jalen Brunson is still going in. He's still in the midst of ascending in his prime.
Yeah.
Like he's had on the job training with us. Technically, like he was given the keys, and you know he really hasn't had a coach let him run with it till just recently. And then if you think about it, he hasn't had the same group each year he's been here either, whether it's because of injuries or new additions, So, that's something that I am glad we have Mike Brown for, because he's had experience with being given a couple of teams that had some pieces already. Like when he first got the Cleveland jobs, the Laker job. Sacramento was a little bit of a new, a lot of people. I did a deep dive into Mike Brown, after he became the coach for it. I had my personal thoughts on him, and a lot of people don't realize, just like me and you, just like players, like when he started off, he was a young new coach. He was given an opportunity to go back into the lab. He was an assistant at Warriors for a while, and he kind of redefined himself. He kind of readjusted some things. That's where the coach at Sacramento was. The Sacramento Kings version of Mike Brown came out, so he showed to me that he's willing to personally adapt. That's what makes it comforting for me, and I'm okay with it. Besides Taylor Jenkins or one of the other ones that I was personally open for. I like the fact that he, not how many coaches are willing to change their philosophies or make themselves better over time and adapt themselves, let alone making the team do it as well. Like he's done it on his own personal level. He's had his own personal growth, and he's learned things, seen what it takes to be a champion with the Warriors. So I hope he brings that here. You know what I'm saying?
Man, you getting thinner, boss? I like big coach, bro. I ain't gonna front.
Hell no.
You stressed out or something?
I'm just maintaining. I ain't gaining or losing.
Oh.
I don't know.
One of the things I will say about Mike Brown, right? And take it or leave it, everybody. I think Mike Brown over the years His flaw is thinking that doing the right thing can fix any situation. That's what I think.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I think Mike Brown thinks doing the right thing, like ethics and integrity, can fix any situation. And while I do believe in integrity and ethics and things of that sort, I know some situations can't be fixed. They just have to be burned to the ground and start all over.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so here's the thing. Here's the thing with that. Right? Here's the thing with that. When you look at the Sacramento Kings was a grease fire that he ran into.
Yes.
Right? They would not, Mike Brown didn't turn them into a grease fire, everybody. Sacramento was a grease fire long before Mike Brown got there. Some would even say the Sacramento Kings, Kansas City Kings, have always been a grease fire, and that's what they like. Right? And so Mike Brown going there trying to fix it is crazy. Like, you can hear and listen, and I know some people don't like DeMarcus Cousins, but I heard a thing. I heard DeMarcus Cousins talk about the Sacramento Kings last week when he said after practice they gave them a Boy Scout bag lunch to millionaire NBA players that were throwing their bodies on the line. Coach, after practice, the Sacramento Kings handed out a brown bag lunch to world-class athletes instead of having a cafeteria for these guys to keep their body right. Right? Sacramento has always been a good. The fact that Mike Brown didn't succeed in Sacramento, to me, is not a knock on Mike Brown. Some organizations are just going to be grease fires because they thrive in New Orleans.
When was the last time Sacramento, before Brown came around, when they didn't have a team that included Weber, Stojakovic, and Turkoglu? When was the last time a Sacramento team was relevant?
2003? 2002? The year they lost to the Lakers, the year they got robbed by the Lakers in Game 7? That's about it.
They were the West Knicks.
Yeah, but that's what they like, though.
Yeah.
That's what they like, though. Right? Sacramento, that's what it is. Do you remember the Kobe transition? Remember the Kobe transition when they hired Mike Brown and they fired him for D'Antoni?
Yeah.
When they brought in Steve Nash to play point guard alongside Kobe, when in theory they should have just let Kobe walk instead of paying Kobe all that money and had a terrible roster. Right? It's one of those things where I'm not going to say Mike Brown is not complicit in bad results. What I'm saying is Mike Brown, some of the situations he ran to the problem instead of running away from the problem, and I think it kind of backfired.
Mm-hmm.
And with Tom Thibodeau, I think Tom Thibodeau ran to the problem, fixed the problem, and then set up a throne. I fixed the Knicks. You can't tell me anything, man. I fixed the Knicks. You can't tell me nothing. Right? Now, it happens. Tibbs ran to the Knicks and fixed them in 2 years. Right? Or in 1 year, really. That second year was crazy. Every year after that just frustrated people more and more. Chop Low in the building, salute.
You know, a lot of people forget, or they don't understand, they don't remember. The Sacramento Kings had the longest drought in the NBA for the playoffs the year before we got there. 16-year drought they had.
Yeah.
And we were, us Knicks fans were crying about our drought, So Mike Brown, I'll give him this, even in his early stages of coaching, when he's walked into a decent roster, he's had 60-win teams.
Yeah.
Like, I think sometimes, like, if you ask a NASCAR driver to ride a bike, you might not be the best BMX rider in the world, you know what I'm saying? You might not be the best go-kart driver. You can drive that NASCAR.
But you put him in that machine, brother, and you see his talent.
So, like, it's all about fit. Some guys' styles fit. I hope they. How many coaches has Leon Rose hired so far?
Head coaches? 2.
Yeah, this is the second one, right?
Yep.
So
in 6 years.
So if you can give a grade to Leon Rose on his decision on the first coach he hired, I would say his first choice was, on paper, a success.
Yep, an A+. Yeah.
Yeah. He did what no other coach has done here in decades.
Right.
Now, he also had the wherewithal to know sometimes you have setup men and sometimes there's closers. Maybe Tibbs was the guy that pulled us out of the mud. It's one thing to.
Tibbs was Buck Showalter, everybody.
Yeah. Who's Mariano Rivera's setup man?
Ooh. I remember when Rivera was the setup man to John Wetland.
I mean, hell, with baseball now, they have 2 or 3 setup men half the time. You never even know how. They rotate these bullpens so much, it's hard to keep up.
Yeah.
This is a situational thing. But, when he arrived in Sacramento, the thing is, Tibbs, when he started with us, I feel he forced his style regardless of roster. And he pretty much stayed that way. When Brown arrived in Sacramento, he didn't try to force like the Warriors system on the Kings.
Right.
Instead he recognized the strengths of his roster, particularly at that time. Their young dynamic duo they had was De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis. So he implemented like an up-tempo, free-flowing offense that maximized their talents, which led the Kings to become the league's highest scoring team, I think, that year. One of something. He also instilled, a defensive mindset. And that's something we got to understand as a fan base, too. I know a lot of us are all, fans of defense. I'll say, wow. Sometimes you can have a team defensive mindset with below average individual defenders. It is a mindset. It's a collective. It's not like every player on the team has to be a lockdown defender. I mean, it just seems like whenever we all talk about possible additions to the team, and the second you say like, nah, they're not good at defense, we don't want them. you know, it's like we're so brainwashed to thinking there's one side of the ball only. You can stop people all you want, but if you can't score, you can't win either.
Balance wins championships.
Exactly. Yep. It's a balance. 100%.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I was saying, like, Leon Rose literally read my mind. Like, one of the last times we were on here, I had this little end of the podcast rant. I go, look, if we're going to keep Mitch, Deuce, and Hart, and they're going to be our bench, we better get some damn offensive guys on the bench.
Yeah.
And what did he do? He got Clarkson and Yabusele, not known for defense.
No, he ain't defending nobody, bro.
But you know what? That's fine. We got other guys. Just like on our starting lineup, we have two amazing defenders. And if Mitch starts at first, we have three amazing defenders in the starting lineup. That's more than 75% of the league has, probably.
Yeah.
Not many of them have three defenders as good as those three. And same thing with our bench. We got a couple guys that'll be able to be decent on defense. We have two guys that are start. You know, we got a 6th man of the year, and Yabusele's been a spark plug since he's been back in the league. So I'm not mad at all.
I'm gonna say this to your Sabonis point.
Yeah.
To your Sabonis point, and to the pace of a game. Playing fast doesn't mean the person with the basketball has to dribble fast.
Right.
Right.
Sometimes it's
Playing
decision-making.
fast doesn't mean all your points are going to be scored in transition. Right. Playing fast means playing with more of a sense of urgency. Playing quicker. Right. Scanning because you can play fast in the half court. I got to get my people to kind of, because somebody called me and said, man, what are we going to do with Mitch and Cat, bro? They can't play fast. Bro, stop it. No team runs fast break offense and transition defense all game, right? Playing fast in the half court means more decisive cutting, not holding the basketball. Threaten the defense, make the defense move in the half court. Mm-hmm. Make the defense move their feet, make the defense recover. Right? Yeah, AB, exactly. Making quicker decisions, right? That's in the half court part. And so I had to tell this person I ain't gonna put him on blast. I put him on blast on the telephone, but I ain't gonna put him on blast here. And what I'm saying to what I had to say to him is, what NBA center can stay in front of Karl Anthony Towns? Name them. Right? And if Cat is fast enough to go around an NBA center, somebody in his own position, I think he's not fast enough to. Of course he is. Of course he is. Like, he's one of the greatest offensive centers to ever play this game. Ever. To play this game. Right, if we're thinking about Karl Anthony Towns in transition offense and transition defense and all that, you don't see no center doing that. No center in the league is going to be doing that. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's Wembanyama. I don't care if it's Jokic. These guys are not going to be running rim to rim all game long for like 35 minutes. It's not how it works when you play with tempo. It's the reason why I think the Knicks are putting emphasis on athletic wing players that can change direction and go up and down the floor when it calls for it. Right? Think about this, and because somebody talked to me about who the next person should be, and they gave me some names. The names were Russell Westbrook, Ben Simmons, and Marcus Smart. Right? As that was that person's final roster spot, right?
Three totally different guys.
Three totally different guys, right? Different body builds, different levels of athleticism and strength and toughness and all that.
I still like your Delano. I still like your Delano Banton.
I like him too, man. I like him.
He's
I
getting
like him
slept
a lot.
on to me.
But if you can imagine just one of those guys, say the guy is Russell Westbrook. Can you imagine OG Anunoby getting a tip, getting a deflection and kicking it out to Westbrook going the other way? What that's going to be like? You don't need Jalen Brunson and Cat in a scenario where you have Bridges, OG, and Russell Westbrook in transition going the other way. As a matter of fact, you help Brunson by scoring without Brunson, right? Like these things, it's like a balance of half-court offense, free throws, three-point shooting, and transition offense. If you can score in all these areas efficiently, then it's less of a burden on Brunson, who can now cook more efficiently. Can you imagine when Brunson does get out on a fast break and can get, dare I say, I'm going to say this, coach, it's going to sound crazy when I say it, but dare I say, can you imagine Jalen Brunson getting wide open three-point looks in transition? Now, I know that sounds crazy. I know you never saw this before. But athleticism in transition, playing faster, leads to our franchise player getting 3 or 4 open looks during the course of a basketball game. Our stars rarely get that. For instance, I'll give an example. How often is it that you see Mitchell Robinson get 3 or 4 or 2 or 3 wide open dunks during the course of a game? You never see it, right? Mitchell Robinson rarely gets open dunks, and he's got to dunk on somebody every time.
Mm-hmm.
Karl-Anthony Towns has to dunk on someone every time. They rarely get dump offs or lobs or things at the rim where they can use their God-given talent to make an exceptional play off of somebody else being unselfish or in an odd man rush. And so when it comes to playing faster, it doesn't mean playing 7 seconds or less. It just means stop scanning the floor, get the ball up the floor, right? Passing the ball. A ball in the air moves faster than a man. Right? The pass is faster than a man. And so pass the ball up the floor, right? Like stop walking the ball up the floor smothered and then getting across with 15 seconds left on the shot clock against a set defense. Now they want to trap. You got to beat the trap, and now you only have 6 seconds left to get a shot up.
Ramon Sessions averaged over 6 assists a game in Mike Brown's offense. The most he ever averaged in his career. So that shows you if he can average 6 assists.
I know Ramon Sessions, bro.
Yeah.
His people from my neighborhood.
Wasn't he on the Knicks for like half a year?
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah, his people from my neighborhood, bro. It's crazy.
Okay. Yeah. Excuse me. But yeah, man, like, and look, like exactly what you said, like, you can run the pick and roll fast.
Yeah.
Like everything you can do fast.
Or aggressively.
Yeah. Like what I don't understand, and that was one of the things that upset me about, that's not a player decision. Like at the beginning of the year, and we talk about this before on other shows, like Brunson and Cat, when they were doing the pick and roll, I remember there was this crazy stat they had. It was like they averaged like 1.265 points a possession or something when they pick and roll, and it was like the best rate in 20 years
ever.
or something.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
And then, like, what? Did Jalen Brunson and Cat say, "Nah, we're good," and stop doing it?
Yes.
Like they decided that, or is
Yep.
that
I think they decided that.
a coaching system and
I
philosophy?
think yep. I'm glad you brought it up. That's why um when someone mentioned um Rick Brunson, I was like, yep, that's a coaching staff. Somebody is in Brunson's ear, like, bro, if these numbers don't, because when Brunson was doing it, remember, I think Brunson was averaging like 21 and like 9 or 8 assists, something crazy. You remember Brunson's assist numbers at the beginning of the season, what they look
Yeah,
like? And then all of a sudden they stopped running it, and then Brunson started averaging like 27. And so I'm like,
yeah.
yo, what are we what are we doing out here? Right? Like how do we run and so chat, this is the reason why I always mention that Mitchell Robinson is always open on the screen. Those first 1 to 2 steps after Mitch sets the screen, Mitch is always open. Right? Mitch is always open. He does the fundamental thing. He shows his chest to the guard. He puts it, now he don't put his hand up every time, but he shows his chest to the guard, letting the guard know he's open, and the lob or the bounce pass never goes to Mitch, right? And so that's why I'm saying that I'm just saying be careful with how we say what players can and can't do when the information that we're using is coming out of the Tom Thibodeau era. Right? We don't know what Mitch can or can't do because everything we saw is based on how he played on with Tom Thibodeau, right? Like we don't know what Jalen Brunson can and can't do fully, right? Because it's because of a Tom Thibodeau offense. So for the past 5 years, what we saw was offense, basically don't basically be risk averse. Don't throw that lob unless it's completely wide open, right? So we can't just go by what we saw with Tom Thibodeau and say that's what these players can and can't do, and we're basing it under Tibbs. That's the reason why I was saying be careful how you judge Mikal Bridges, because Mikal Bridges looked a certain way for his entire career, played 1 year under Tibbs, and now people want to trade him. I'm just saying, relax, right? Relax. Like, let this Mike Brown is gonna make these players look different. And now, will that be to their benefit or to their demise? We won't know until we see. And they'll work on the things that can be improved on, and they'll take advantage of the things that are unstoppable.
Like Cat is not a dribble handoff big. Like, what are you doing?
Right.
Like, I just, and that's one thing that does intrigue me about Mike Brown. Like, I know he doesn't just hold on to the old school idea of bigs are the back down, post up, dribble handoff bigs anymore.
Right.
He said it himself. Like, you can see the smirk and the smile and excitement he had in the press conference of the roster that he's taken on. He's like, ooh, I can't wait. So it's like, hey, it's a, at a lower level, like all coaches go through this. Football, every sport, they get this group of players that, man, they're so excited. Like, they can't wait to just play with his new toys. You know what I'm saying? It's like there's so many analogies. You know, and we're gonna get that at first. We're gonna get that excitement bump of, you know, there's gonna be a couple of times we're like, what are we doing here? Like, why are we doing this? And that's what the regular season's for. Like, I want Mike Brown to try everything. I'm not gonna second guess nothing until the trade deadline's done.
He said excellent roster 5 times in the press conference in 21 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, as a coach, he's set himself up already for the expectations, because he can't complain. I can't win with this group, because he said excellent roster 5 times. So
he said
you know, we mess around and only a couple of games over 500 at the All-Star break. People are complaining about, oh, you said we had an excellent roster. Do something with it, buddy.
Yeah, do something.
You know, we're gonna call you out.
Yeah,
trust me.
I think the so for everyone that's wondering why I'm so optimistic, I'm optimistic not just about Mike Brown, right? The thing I'm optimistic about, and this is to Coach's point, but I want to emphasize a certain thing. I think rosters that play in high leverage games get a certain level, a certain confidence boost that other teams don't get. So I think the roster is an excellent roster, but at the same time, that excellent roster also slayed a dragon in the Boston Celtics. Now, did that mean they won a championship? No. Right? But what that does is instill confidence that if they do the right thing, they can beat anybody. This roster, this excellent roster that Mike Brown pointed out, knocked off the defending NBA champs. Right? Right? This roster knocked off the reigning NBA champs. Right? Now, it may not seem like much to, some. Right. And if you gotta lose, can you take down somebody while you're going? Right. If you're gonna lose in the playoffs, can you at least have some impact on the playoffs? Like, can you can you at least prove to everybody you were there? Right. The year we lost to Indiana, the year before last, it wasn't even like we was there. Right? The first year we lost to Indiana, it wasn't even like we was there. Everybody had excuses for us to lose. Right? They're like, hey, the injuries, we'll be back. The injuries, blah, blah, blah. Hey, man, it wasn't even the year we lost to Miami, when it was Jimmy Butler at 60% and Duncan Robinson and Gabe Vincent, the year we should have beat Miami. It wasn't even like we were in the playoffs. It was like we made it, but we ain't do nothing. It was like going to the amusement park, driving around in the parking lot, and coming home.
Mm-hmm.
Right? At least this past year, we played in high leverage games. Where we made an impact. We put a dent in the playoffs. There was legit a sense that the Knicks could be in the finals. Right? There was a sense that the Knicks can be in the finals.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mike Brown was with the Spurs when Robinson and Tim Duncan and them were there.
Right. Are you saying Cat is Tim Duncan?
I mean,
no, I know that. I know that's not what you're saying.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of people think like we've been so reprogrammed as fans, like with starting lineups, like it's this concrete 5 people all the time, when you can have a concrete 4 starters and the 5th one is situational, depending on the team you're playing. That's okay too, you know. That's called coaching.
Right.
I don't think I've ever seen a championship roster or any roster in NBA history where all 5 guys said, when you see those 2 columns and the stats, games started, games played, I've never seen 5 guys with 82.
Okay. Yeah,
You know, so like,
I don't even know if I want to see that.
nah. Like, there's going to be some games, some stretches where Mitch should start. There's going to be some games where maybe Yabusele should start. Some matchups. There's some matchups maybe Deuce starts. You know what I'm saying? Like, there might be some weird times where Clarkson starts. Who knows? You know? There's maybe one of these young wings we have step up, like Dadier, or, you know, and all of a sudden they sneak in there. Maybe we mess around. I don't know if I want this or not, but for the vet minimum, hell yeah, I do. You know, we get someone like Beal, start him. You know what I'm saying? There's our roster is good enough where we don't have to have the perfect 5th starter all the time. It's a 48-minute game. Josh Hart isn't off the team. He's still there. He's going to get his 25. He should get like 25 minutes. I mean, I will talk rotations and all that. I'm sure some other time. But that's something that this coach, whether he's our first choice or not, whether we wanted him all along, I don't give a crap. He's a coach that showed he uses his roster and he's not afraid to use it. And he doesn't care who the stars are. If Kobe Bryant is having an off night, he's not shooting for us tonight. He did that. So I'm sure Brunson wants to win more than he wants to be a first-team All-NBA guy. I think he wants to win more than he wants to be a 27-point scorer. That's just my opinion. I think Brunson is the coach's player. You know how you have players, player coaches? Brunson's a coach's player. Brunson is he's a reflection of his coach. He's one of those players that's always an extension of whoever his head coach is. So whatever philosophy his head coach puts forth for him and his team, Brunson conveys that. And that's just my opinion. I don't think Brunson's going off the rails and doing his own thing all the time. Now, does he have tendencies to have some blinders sometimes if he feels he's in the zone or he feels he can take somebody? Sure. A lot of superstars have that mindset. They go rogue, you know, especially when things aren't going well.
Yeah.
But it's hard to, you know, what's the zebra and the stripes, or said analogy, I forget what it's called, but
yeah, a zebra's not going to win a Kentucky Derby, bro.
Yeah, like he is one of the best He's got to be the top 5 best ISO players in the league. Period. Who can stop him? Honestly, what one defender can stop him? I don't think there are many.
Well, I don't think there are many either. But here's the thing. Why were we deploying that as your central focus of offense, as opposed to using it when you need it?
Well, that's why we're at where we're at now with the coaching situation.
Yeah.
Hopefully, this new vision and new coaching philosophy unlocks that answer for us. Because I don't think this is something that Brunson consciously did on his own. I think
it is, bro. I disagree with you. I want to put false evidence.
That's all right.
I know.
I think Brunson's going to average the most assists he averaged his whole career this year. By the way, I said that last year, and he did too. So.
Yeah, because of the pace and the pace of play. I think he'll get there. I don't think it's going to be because he becomes more of a creator. I think it's because guys in a different offense will convert more.
Well, exactly. See, that's the other illusion that happens, I think, when we watch these games. I see Brunson create offense a lot of times, but our other guys don't do their part to finish what he started. And then I see where he is. You know what? Screw this. I'm just going to take it then. I can see him doing that. I think he's guilty of that. I don't think he's consciously coming out the gate. Oh, I'm running this mug right now. Like I'm getting mine. He ain't that. He doesn't have that mentality to me. Like, oh, I'm getting mine no matter what.
I think he does. I think he does. But the thing is not in a detriment to the organizational type way. Right, not in the Malik Monk type way. You feel me? Like I'm gonna get mine regardless of what. No, not that. Not in a Glenn Robinson, Michael Beasley type way. I'm talking about in a, if I'm the best weapon out here tonight, I'm gonna give this thing everything I have. Right. That's what I'm saying. Like I'm not saying like what I'm saying is Jalen Brunson has confidence that he. I think Jalen Brunson has confidence that he can average 30 points a game in the NBA. Right? Can he? I think he can.
Does he need to?
I don't think he needs to. And I think that's the reason why he does not do that, is what I'm saying.
Right.
Like, I think his mindset is I can score on anyone. They can't stop me. Right? And I think at times he knows this and believes it. So at times during the game, you can see the Jalen Brunson power hour. You see it coming, right? You see it coming. Jalen Brunson comes down, nobody touches it. Jalen Brunson for 3, right? You see it. I'm not saying that's a bad thing because Emmanuel Quickly used to do it, right? Emmanuel Quickly used to do it, and we were like, "Yo, what are you doing?" But Emmanuel Quickly is not Jalen Brunson. You feel me? Like, I know that there are times when Jalen Brunson comes in, and Coach, you was with me. You was like, you told me yourself that you would rather see, you just saw dudes miss 2 or 3 shots. You would rather see Jalen Brunson take over this offense. You told it to me during games. And I'm not throwing that out as a negative thing. What I'm saying is we saw the same thing. Right?
But I think it was out of need, not out of him doing it regardless of what's going on.
So the Jalen Brunson power hour is because the team needed it.
I think most of the time that's when it happened. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm with you. I agree. But so I agree with you. So we're basically at the same. Now, am I saying Jalen Brunson is in the locker room before the game saying this is going to be the Jalen Brunson power hour? No, that's not what I'm saying. Right. What I'm saying is during the course of the game. There'll be chat. Y'all saw it. Y'all know I'm not BSing y'all chat. Y'all know during the course of the game, it'll be like the third quarter, and Karl Anthony Towns will have 7 shots, right? And Jalen Brunson to be 10 for 18. And you're like, yo, Cat's only taking 7 shots. And some folks will say, Cat's got to be more aggressive. And then other people will say, dribble, 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 right? And you're like, how come the starting center in the Eastern Conference on the All-Star team has 7 shots, but Josh Hart has 8 shots? OG has 11 shots. OG is 3 for 11. Bridges is 4 for 9, and Cat has 7 shots. And we're wondering why Cat only has 7 shots. Jeff, what's good, man? And so, am I saying that Jalen Brunson is not a facilitator, creator? When Jalen Brunson runs that pick and roll, one person is going to shoot the ball. When Mitchell Robinson comes up high to set the screen, I know Mitchell Robinson is not going to touch that basketball. And if I know that, then everybody knows that. Right. And if imagine if Coach is playing point guard, right? Coach is playing point guard. Uncle Freezy comes up top to set the screen, and I see a dude riding Coach. Coach already know when I get there, I'm gonna mash the hell out of whoever chasing Coach. Coach get the screen, and now he's free to go downhill towards the rim. But if I'm open in them first 2 steps and Coach don't even look at Uncle Freezy, when we get back to the huddle, I'm a you motherfucker.
I'll set that pick for you.
My body, and you up here putting up 49 points, and you ain't even dapped me up.
At least look at me.
Yeah. You feel me? So it's one of those things where even if you don't give it to Mitchell Robinson every time cutting to the rim because you don't trust his hands, you got to at least fit that ball in there at times to collapse the defense so you can spray out to 3-point shooters in the corner like OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges. But if you don't do that and their man is basically playing zoned up between the box and the corner, by the time the ball gets there, OG is shooting a contested 3.
Right.
As opposed to, it basically is the difference between having 2 foot of space and 12 feet of space. Right? Too much space gets you out of rhythm. Too little space have you shooting contested jump shots.
Right. And, some people's philosophy is, just like I don't want players to force shots, I don't want players to force passes either. Like that's what people think, oh, he's the point guard. He needs to just pass it more. Like sometimes it's a percentage. Like to me as a coach, a good pass that leads to an easy bucket is just as good as scoring yourself, obviously, right? And I don't know. I'm sure there's a way to look up the stat. Like I'm curious to see how many missed assist opportunities Brunson actually had stat-wise. Because part of me thinks it's higher than a lot of people think. Like I think there's a lot of missed assist opportunities. Like to where it's because a lot of people, I don't want to hear anyone say like, oh, so-and-so averages. I watch teams. Other teams play too. Not as much as the Knicks, obviously. But it's easy to look on paper and say Trae Young averaging double-digit assists and LaMelo Ball and these guys that are, if you want to talk about players that are chuckers and are more ball hogs than Brunson, if I mention Trae Young and LaMelo Ball, would you consider them shoot first guys? Like just by the way they play? Or are we just stat looking?
Right.
oh, Trae Young and LaMelo Ball average more assists. They're better point guards. You know, that's what people's mindset are when they look at basketball sometimes. Sometimes it's not about the stats either.
Right.
So I don't know. When Brunson had an adjustment this year, he had an offensive force, dropped in his lap right before the season started. That's the only excuse I'll give even Tibbs, at least for the first half of the year.
Right.
And after that, he squandered the opportunity, in my opinion.
Okay.
So we have to understand what's the difference between this is like the whole would you rather defense or offense conversation. If we're winning games, do you care if we win 125 to 118 or 104 to 97? Like, does it matter the score? It's the same thing. Like, do we want Brunson to average 27 points and 7 assists? Or do we want him to average only 23 and have 11 assists? Either way, we're getting the same amount of points. You know what I'm saying? The mentality of all that. It's whether he's giving the assist on the points or he's scoring it himself.
Right.
To me, I think we just need to be more efficient, like you were saying earlier. We want the points per possession to go up. We want less turnovers. We want points off turnovers. We want to make the most of our possessions and have more possessions by playing at a faster pace. So that's the formula that got the Pacers and Thunder to where they are. Pace and efficiency, and using a lot of guys to get there. I mean, that seems to be what's working right now. So, do those teams have the starting five we have? I don't think so.
Okay.
Like, our best 4 players are better than the other team's best 4 players. I'll argue with this, like, I'm blue in the face.
Okay.
Like, no one can tell me, yeah, you can say OKC has SGA and Jalen Williams. Who's their third best player?
I don't know. Chet.
Are they better than OG or McHale?
I don't care.
Exactly. But
I'm mad that they wear blue and orange, bro.
But when you're looking at the scheme of team-wide talent, kudos to the Thunder. Their coach found a way to maximize their roster. Now we need a coach to do that too. That's really the point I'm getting at. I'm not saying we have to do exactly what the Thunder did, but
okay.
So I just think that coming out of the gate, we have an advantage almost every time we step on the court. That's my point. So this is Mike Brown's job to screw up. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can only mess this up. Like, you can't. I'm not. It's going to be easy to take this team where you got to take it, especially with the landscape of the East right now. Okay. I'm not saying the Cavs are going to be a pushover. Orlando got better. The Hawks got better.
Okay.
But if this is going to be our stepping stone to winning more than one, we got to steal this season because we're given an opportunity with the injuries to two of the other better players in the East. You know, and that's how it happens.
Okay.
I feel bad for them guys, but I don't care who's on the other teams at this point. I just because I feel even if they were playing, the Knicks play the best of their ability. We can't be beat. Like we're our own worst enemy. Like we can only beat ourselves. Like if we play our best basketball, we can't be beat. So hopefully Mike Brown brings that out.
Okay. Okay.
So where's your head at on this? Do you think they've waited on this last vet minimum because there may be a chance? Because when we look at this summer league roster, do you think they may think there's two guys on this summer league roster that might sneak in?
I think we got to chill out, bro. Basically, you always wait to the last minute for the last roster spot, bro.
Yeah.
Like when has a team that's looking to improve locked up the roster in late June, early July?
Right.
You feel me? Like legit, it's not even August yet, and we like, yo, nah, man, we gotta hurry up and sign the final guy.
Yeah.
Nah, man, calm down. This is how it happens every year. Every year you wait till like, for instance, what if Charlotte, one of Charlotte's best young players,
they get hurt,
blows it out of the water in training camp?
Oh yeah,
and it's gonna be like like say one day a lottery, say Tijan Salon all of a sudden, you know what I'm saying? What if Tijan Salon all of a sudden blows up and becomes the guy they think he is? Right? The only thing is Miles Bridges is in his way. Right? And then say Charlotte is like, we really didn't want Miles Bridges anyway. You know what I'm saying? We had him because we had to have some talent. And then they buy out Miles Bridges. Right? They find some way to cut Miles Bridges so Tijan Salon can play. Right?
Right.
And if you're the Knicks, right? Think about if you're the Knicks, you signed Marcus Smart for your last roster spot early July, and now Miles Bridges is on the open market at the end of August or in September, right? So you like, yo, can we void Miles, Marcus Smart contract? Nah, bro, you made that bed. Now you got to lay in it.
You stuck for about 60 days.
Yeah, and Miles Bridges would be gone.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I think we gotta relax on the last roster spot. I think we gotta just chill out and be patient. You know what I'm saying? As fans, right? Like for instance, say the kid that looks like Chauncey Billups in Cleveland, the fourth point guard guy in Cleveland. You know, the dude that put a hurting on us. Say he all of a sudden is now the backup point guard and they don't need Lonzo Ball. Right? And so you're like, hey man, listen, we'll pay 80% of Lonzo contract if somebody would just take him so we can free up the roster spot. Right? But we can't do it because we signed Marcus Smart.
And then on the other side, what if someone surprises us in summer league? Like, man, we might gotta give this kid a chance. Like Nick Jourdain or something, something we don't even think about.
Yeah. This is what I'm saying. I'm just throwing out wild possibilities. I know, like basically what I'm getting at is why would we be locking ourselves into the final roster spot when, for one, the dude you signed to the final roster spot, he probably ain't gonna be playing anyway, right? And then two, why put yourself in a situation when you can have that be a rotating door of veterans that you can sign to like a 10-day deal, see who fits? I don't know exactly what scenario, however the scenario is, but to me, it just makes sense to keep roster flexibility.
Here we go, yo.
Yeah, yeah,
So what's the scenario?
yeah. You can legit just keep that door open for guys. What if I mean, yeah, yeah, keep roster flex. Yeah,
I was
keep
looking.
roster flexibility. I'm not the 15th guy thing to me is like the 13th thing on my list of things to think about this offseason. You know what I'm saying? You know what's the most important thing to me? More important things to that? Why are we not talking about the Diawara kid, the second round pick?
Yeah.
Why are we not talking about this Diawara kid?
Or Lucas Skuka.
Yeah,
Oh,
is
have
he
you seen his highlights?
who?
Lucas Skuka.
I don't know who that is.
You need to look at his highlights, bro.
No, I don't. If he, coach, if he's not like a contributor, man, I ain't got. I
Hey,
just told you I have a list of like 13 things, and you just wanted to add one to it.
no, he's on our summer league. He's on our summer league roster.
Who is he? Is he a 6'7" point guard?
He's a 6'10" jumbo wing.
Luka Skuka.
Yeah,
I ain't got to. How old is he?
23.
Um,
Bro, I don't know. I got a crush on him. I got a coach crush on him right now, bro. Them highlights I saw.
yeah,
He's Slovenian. He played with Luka on the Slovenian team.
I can. Friday, when we get together Friday, if he do something Friday, then I'll remember his name. I'll remember his name. Like I'll put him on the list Friday. But right now, the most important thing to me this offseason is the development of Kev McCullough, Tyler Kolek, Huck Porty, Gaudier, and James Najee. I have to see improvement out of those guys. Right?
What about Beauchamp? Too.
I think he's a bucket, bro, but he's not gonna play. Oh, wait a minute. He might play with Mike Brown, bro. An athletic scoring wing bucket.
Yeah. Maybe.
An athletic scoring bucket. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, they might like Dink Pate. Who knows?
I don't. But that's what that's the point that I'm getting at. Like the point that I'm getting at is I'm not an obnoxious Knicks fan with his nose in the air, thinking about champagne choices come next June. What I'm saying is when I prioritize what I'd like to see from the Knicks, an off the radar person impressing in summer league is not really high on my. I like to see Tyler Kolek improve his defense and improve his 3-point shooting. I like to see Pakem Dadier improve his transition defense. His half court defense is good. Right? His half court defense is very good. His transition defense, communicating and things of that sort, there are some things that need to be done there. Kev McCullough, if Kev McCullough, to me, Kev McCullough should have been a first round pick, but he fell to the second round because of injury. We know that, right? But I want to see Kev McCullough play, right? I want to see Huck Porty play more, especially summer league. I want to see their chemistry, right? So when we talk about dudes like Luka Skuka, I don't even know. He sounds like the 7th roster for Waka Flocka. You know, he's like the 7th rapper with Waka Flocka. Like, girl, the way you move it got me in the. I don't even know. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But the thing is the other thing too is, and this might be in chat. This might be the most important thing to me. right? The most important thing to me this offseason to figure out is what is Deuce McBride's role with this team, right?
Yeah.
What's Deuce McBride's role with this team? Can Deuce McBride get out to a slow start after shooting 40% from the floor and 37% from three, like he did last year?
Right.
Will we be talking about who the Deuce McBride replacement is come September? Right? And this is for everybody that wanted, and this is for all you guys that want Ben Simmons and Russell Westbrook and Marcus Smart. In theory, you're asking for the replacement to Deuce McBride. And I know it doesn't seem fair for me to take your words and twist them, but when you say that you want another point guard on the roster, you're saying, I want a guy in that role that's not named Deuce McBride.
Yeah, I'm saying it. I'm done making excuses for Deuce. He don't know how to be a point guard by now. He ain't gonna become one. That's like waiting for Josh Hart to be a shooting guard. He's 30 now. What's Deuce? 25, 26 now?
Yeah.
He's a 3-and-D, a 6'1" 3-and-D player.
Yo, and so Jeff says this. No, what's Jeff's comment? Jeff says no, because Deuce is on a cheap contract. Yeah, I hear a lot of people saying that, man. But, and this is just to my man Jeff. So when I say this, everybody else don't listen. This is just for Jeff. Jeff, cheap contracts get traded all the time, man. You can legit trade Deuce McBride right now for a second year, late first round pick. Right? Like you could have traded Deuce McBride for maybe Cam Whitmore.
Cam Whitmore went for 2 seconds.
And I know most people don't like Cam Whitmore, right? A lot of people don't like Cam Whitmore, but you can trade Deuce's money for a guy that'll be controllable for the next 2 to 3 seasons with upside. Right? You don't have to try to trade Deuce for LeBron James or include him as a sweetener. You can just flip the money, make the money match for a guy with upside and trade him. Right? I don't want to trade Deuce. I would rather figure it out. I'm not in a get rid of Deuce mindset. I'm in a hey, we got to figure this thing out mindset. But it worries me that there is a consensus in the fan base that the Knicks need another point guard. And if Deuce is not that guy, then what are we going to do with Deuce? That's what concerns me. Like, for instance, Coach, would you trade Deuce McBride for Chris Murray, the first round pick in Portland, Keegan Murray's brother?
I mean, if he's a real point guard, yep.
No, he's a wing player.
Yeah, and no. I mean,
I'm sorry, go ahead, bro.
Because here's the thing. The same thing we talk about with Bridges and the other guys on how they were used with Tibbs. Deuce falls under that too, technically. So that's why
I don't like how you was eavesdropping on me and Jeff's conversation, bro.
So like Deuce, he's listed as a point guard, but his handles are not the greatest. His playmaking hasn't been the greatest. He's basically, like I said, his skill set, what he's been providing us, is 3-and-D stuff in a 6'1", 6'2" package. You know what I mean? So is that a product of his inabilities or his limitations, or how who used them?
It's like, you remember when Buddy Ryan was drafting all these oversized safeties? You remember in Arizona when he took the Arizona job, he tried to move Seth Joyner back to safety. You remember Seth Joyner? The linebacker, remember the linebacker Seth Joyner?
Yeah.
And he tried to play Andre Waters. I think they tried to put like Andre Waters and Seth Joyner at safety. I
Right.
was like, buddy, what are you doing? And I gotta stop the run, man. I gotta put bigger bodies on it. And teams throwing the football. Teams throwing the football over them dudes like it's a 707 drill. That's what I think. That's what I think the Deuce thing was. Like Tibbs wanted a stout point of attack defender with high character, somebody that will do everything the coaching staff says. And in theory, you do need that. But if you have Jordan Clarkson and you're thinking about bringing in another point guard, say Marcus Smart, what is Deuce gonna do? You can't move Deuce McBride to shooting guard because he's not a shooting guard. He shoots 40% from the floor and 37% from three.
And he ain't driving by nobody.
Right. Deuce has to be, Deuce has to be in order for Deuce to be that, Deuce has to be at least in that 44 to 45% from the floor thing to be efficient. And he's got to shoot the three more often and at a higher clip. And what we saw this past year from Deuce McBride is that the more minutes you give him, the lower his efficiency gets. And it's not a knock on Deuce, right? It's not a knock on Deuce. It's just the way that he was used may be the reason why his numbers looked a certain way. But that's the reason, Chat, that's the reason for my concern. Like when we talk about Luka Skuka or whatever his name is, whoever, I'm like, okay, that's cool. My main priority though is what about what we are going to do with Deuce? How do we implement Deuce McBride? How do we ensure that our other young kids improve and take those spots that veterans have vacated? Right? How do we make sure that the Knicks implement a modern offense and stick to it for 82 games? And then plus the playoffs. Right? And so it's one of them things, man, like I have other concerns, right? Like, what does Mitchell Robinson look like after a healthy offseason? One of the things we don't speak about is Mitchell Robinson, his development not being linear because in most off seasons he's always injured. Did I say Deuce McBride? I meant to say Mitchell Robinson. Most of Mitchell Robinson's off seasons are rehab sessions, so he never gets to add to his game. What does Mitchell Robinson look like now, where he has a summer to not just rehab, but to also work on his game? Right. What does that look like ideally? Right. These are my concerns. Right. One of my concerns also is do we tell in the exit interview, do you tell Mikal Bridges, hey, we need for you to work on your ball handling so the issues that we faced last year won't come up and rear their ugly head again. Even though you added personnel, you still need the personnel that you currently have to improve. Like Bridges, you got to work on your handle, dog. You got to work on your handle, right? You got to work on your handle, dog. Like when these dudes are pressing Jalen Brunson in the backcourt, you got to be available. You just can't just run up the floor, right? These are the type things. That's why when I say, I'm not saying that my guy, the Knicks guy, Luka, whatever his name is not going to be entertaining for us to look at, and hopefully he makes the roster and contributes. What I'm saying is I think I have, Coach, at this time, I think I have bigger fish to fry.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's just where That's without, to me, that's without saying that all the things you're saying. All coaches should be doing that regardless. Like that's a given in my eyes. Like I shouldn't have to beg for that.
But it hasn't always been a given, though.
I know that's what's upsetting. You know, something that should be modern professional coaching 101, or just professional coaching 101. Coach your whole damn roster, bro.
Right.
Like, coach, you only got 15 of them.
Right.
Coach them all up, make them all better.
Right.
Don't just concentrate on your good ones.
But how do you get young guys better if you never practice?
Right.
Mike Brown is here to put some things in place, practice schedule, things of that sort, right? So that's why. So chat. If I'm coming across like a thing, it's just not. I'm not like ordering championship T-shirts, right?
Right.
I'm legit. Like, I have real concerns as a content creator. I legit have about 50 questions I need to have answered.
And you know what?
I have
Leon Roan has concerns about Deuce
yeah.
McBride, because since he's been here, he keeps bringing in point guards, and veterans and people to replace them. I mean, or have a better. And like I said, I'm not making this like Deuce is the new whipping post. You know what I'm saying?
No, not.
I'm not making. I love Deuce. I want him to succeed, but I'm just being an objective observer of what I see. And he was given a lot of opportunity this year, and he was given 6-man minutes.
And he didn't look like a 6-man, bro.
And he was not. He dropped the ball. Just like we're going to hold Cat accountable. People want to hold Brunson accountable. Bridges, OG, Hart, everyone.
Mitch, people be slamming Mitch.
Slamming. I'm one of them. You know what I'm saying? So
I don't know why, but okay.
We get this whole. He's our little son. Like, we make excuses for our son. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm tired of that crap. I hold my sons more accountable than my non-sons.
Okay? Yeah, how many sons you got, bro?
2.
I was about to say, you talking about your non-son?
Talk to Rick Brunson how hard he was on Jalen.
Like 31 kids.
The other players.
Yeah, you gotta.
Now, I'm not saying just like you said, I don't want to just throw Deuce away for some.
We got to fix it, make it work.
Coffee machine. But
I like coffee though, Coach. I ain't gonna front.
But if Mike Brown can't do something with him, then you guys will get the hell on.
Yeah.
That's $4 million we can pay for a up and coming. Like, because the thing is, during this off season, when I was hunting around for little cheap pieces to grab, because that's all we can afford, there's so many times I saw, oh man, who's this kid? This 6'7", 6'8" kid that averaged 8-9 points on only like 12 minutes. Who's this kid? And I look at drafted 2nd round, 47th pick. I'm seeing all these not household name guys.
Kamari, what's his name? To Nami Kamara in Portland.
Yeah, like all these weird, like, 2nd round hidden gems that are, some of them are averaging double-digit points already and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And and I'm not going to be interested in that guy who's only making $2.3 million. You know what I'm saying? And I got Deuce making $4 million, and we're like, oh, Deuce can defend the other point guards. Yeah, but he's going to get shot over by the other 90% of threes. You know, so there's like this. I want Deuce to succeed, but there's a time where we gotta just can't hold on to everybody as much as we want. But like you said, if he's gonna be on the roster, we have to fix him, use him. I don't want to just spend the whole year. Oh, let's get rid of him. We're gonna have him, use him, and fix him or whatever.
Right.
But he's losing minutes to Clarkson. Sorry.
Right.
Now, are him and Clarkson going to be on court together? Probably.
Would you take guard A.J. Johnson from the Washington Wizards for Deuce McBride? That's a trick question because I would love A.J. Johnson here.
Oh, I like that dude. That's
that dude's a dog. Fuck it, bro. That dude would fly by Jalen Brunson and look Brunson. Coach, he would do this. He'd look Brunson in his eyes like this as he's going to the rim, shooting in traffic. like that dude was.
Bro, I'm sorry. I would take Delano Banton over McBride, bro.
Bro, you feel me? Like there are some dudes out there that are on rosters that make less money than Deuce that you could legit get. Would you take Kashawn George?
Hell yeah.
Combo guard forward wing guy with the handles that plays point for them occasionally.
Hell yeah, I would.
For Deuce, I mean,
it's like not like I said. There just comes a time where I don't know, man. There's just guys out there.
But coach, the reason why I say this is because of levity, right? I don't want to trade Deuce. Let me make that clear, right? But what I don't want to also do is back myself into a corner or paint myself in a corner of it's Deuce or bust. Right. I like Deuce a lot. I like him as a player and a person, and I think he does a lot for the culture. Right? I think he does a lot for the culture, but at the same time, if you told me that moving a guy in order to get a guy that you feel like fits modern NBA basketball, like if you can get a 6'5" combo guard that can score along with another scorer off the bench, yes, I would entertain the thought, though I would veto it. I don't want to trade Deuce, right? But at the same time, if you're telling me that a 6'1" defense first wing that shoots 40% from the floor and 30% from three, mostly on spot ups that are created by another guard on the floor, is our only option. If his name wasn't Deuce McBride, I would have been said get him out of here. But I like Deuce.
I mean, I'll take Keon Ellis.
If you just asked me if this was just player X and I didn't know Deuce's name, I'd be like, hell yeah, get that dude out of here. But it's Deuce, bro.
Here's a player, 6'6", 8.3 points a game on 24 minutes a game, 1.5 steals, 0.8 blocks, 49% from the field, 43% from three, and 85% free throw.
Bilal Coulibaly. Yes, I would do it.
That's Keon Ellis.
That's Keon Ellis. Was he an important?
The Kings. So, they didn't pick up his team option, I don't think. Or was he part of the trade or something?
Oh, talking about in New Jersey? I mean, Brooklyn?
Keon Ellis went to Brooklyn.
And then I keep forgetting. Keons. I get them all confused.
Yeah. No, Keon Ellis was.
The Kings?
Yeah, on the Kings.
Okay.
He was an undrafted guy from Alabama. But
oh, yeah, I forgot. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, HR. Yeah, I remember that. HRM. I remember that. I remember that.
Oh yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
But no, and like I said,
Hey, coach, I got to wrap up in like 2 minutes because I want
all right,
to do the clips and stuff.
all
You
right.
got anything to say to everybody in like 60 seconds before we wrap up?
I'm just look, guys. We got our guy. Let's all whether it's the front office's first choice or your first choice or not. Let's all give him a warm welcome. Let's give him the breathing room to succeed. He's going to take some bumps. Let's believe in him. Let's get behind him. Let's rally behind him. Let's show him, what the Knicks are all about and the fans are all about. Let's just rally together. And this is a clean slate. We're all 0-0, and let's just think glass half full, man. I'm excited. And we got Summer League coming up. I'm excited to check that. This is one of the most exciting group we've had in years. The Summer League, a lot of questions to be answered. I'm looking forward to it, man. I look forward to sharing it with you, Freezy, and the rest of the Orange Tears fam.
Yeah. Hey, just real quick, everybody. Appreciate everybody in chat. Jeff, what's good, man? Appreciate Jeff coming through, man. I know Jeff be busy saving the world. One thing I want to say to everybody is remember this is what I've been saying during the course of the season. So we've been our anniversary, it'll be 5 years in October, and generally twice a year I'll remind everybody that these talks that we're having right now is for the summertime. Like these summertime talks that we having, this is gonna be all summer, man. So what I want to do is give you something to think about. So the next time we come to the table, you can tell me how wrong I was, add new content to the conversation, tell me how right I was, or dive deeper into conversation that we had, because this is what the summertime is for, right? This is what the summertime is for us to throw out our wild ideas and have like these in-depth conversations about topics that we either table until the off season or that just were off the periphery a little bit. Mm-hmm. And so now that the summer is here, we could talk about them ad nauseum, right? Thank y'all, everybody on YouTube, for coming through. Hit that like button.
And we up over 25K now too, baby.
Yeah, we're headed for 250,000. That's our number, everybody. 250,000. That's the number, right? That's the next time we're going to celebrate 250,000, right? Thank you for everybody on X. Our number is 50,000. That's what we're trying to get to, X. I know y'all, it's a small and mighty crowd on X, and I appreciate y'all edifying me and building up Lawrence Tears, man. I see y'all on X, man. I get y'all DMs, and I appreciate the fact, man, that y'all holding us down, trying to build a community on X. They are small but mighty. And what we'll try to do, man, is be more consistent with the way that we do the such and such. But we'll get there. We'll get there, everybody. Peace, everybody.
I rank where the view is nothing less than phenomenal. For how I express and project from my abdominal. The only view better, both my daddy and my mama know. No living parents, my sons give me balance. My wife is my serenity, this mic is my identity. The world is foul enough.